I will go ahead and call to order the City of Indio Public Arts Commission for Tuesday, April 8th at 5:30 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Marujo,
Present.
Commissioner Prudhomme,
Present.
Commissioner Newmeyer,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Armenta,
Present.
Here.
Chairperson Sanchez.
Present. Okay, do I have any volunteers for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, public comment for items not on the agenda.
There are none.
Okay. Item 4.1, review and approve minutes of the Public Arts Commission meeting of February 11th, 2025.
I approve.
If
Oh.
make a motion first.
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Commissioner Marujo. You
I
can
approve.
indicate your vote. Commissioner Prudhomme,
I approve.
Commissioner Newmeyer,
Be yes.
Vice Chairperson Armenta,
Yes.
Chairperson Sanchez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item 5, presentation by local artists and or art organizations. Item 5.1, Ms. Caldero. The new mural
Chairperson, we have a presentation today, so I believe she is at the meeting, and the artist is also available via Zoom.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Get my eyes on real quick. Thank you so much for this time and to be here again. I believe the last time that I was here was about a little over a year ago in December, and I presented what was my half put together plan to kind of revive the neighborhood where I grew up in. So in that time, I did go back and do a lot of homework on the neighborhood and its background, and just researching Mr. John Nobles, and in that time also, from when I presented the mural proposal, at the time I had also presented volunteers and that were willing to come together to not just do the mural, but also to kind of give it a curb appeal and do a landscape upgrade to that sidewalk along the wall that we'll be proposing. And since then, we have had some changes to the proposal. So I'm really excited and just so grateful to be able to come here again. Behind the idea, my proposal today is to improve the neighborhood where I grew up in, and that was on John Nobles Ranch Avenue, or a neighborhood at the time, it was Arabia. Behind the idea, I grew up in Indio for much of my youth's life, John Nobles neighborhood to be exact. I graduated IHS Indio High School, class of 95, 82-451, John Nobles, apartment number 13. I moved out of the valley when I was only 19 years old, visiting on occasion. Some years back, our family was faced with a difficult storm, which required me to spend more time in Indio. During that time, I was fortunate enough to be reconnected with friends who introduced me to one of my lost passions in life, bike riding. My brother and I used to bike ride all the time growing up, In remembering, I was taken back to the neighborhood I once grew up in, John Noble's Ranch. Sitting on the curb one day during a bike ride break, I began staring at the Mayfair pink wall. I don't know if it's called that or if it's even was supposed to be called that, but I began to remember my childhood. Memories such as playing freeze tag with the neighborhood kids, riding my bike, and walking to the bus stop in the mornings with anticipation just to see our bus driver, Miss Diane Furman. She lit up the bus with her smile and love and made sure every child felt seen. As I remembered her with love, I began to remember so many more people that have left and dropped their mustard seeds planted into that neighborhood and the children. Seeds of love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, and gentleness. I began to envision a mural where we could memorialize those who were and are doing the work like Miss Diane did and Mr. John Nobles did in a timeline mural. John Nobles becoming the first African American in the 1930s, 1940s to move to the Indio area and became a landowner in a time where that was unheard of. John Nobles Ranch becoming a mecca from families seeking a stable place to live. To memorialize his legacy, a path that paved the way for many people is to recognize members of our beautiful community who are teachers, pastors, coaches, mentors, friends, ministers, who poured their seeds of love into kids of this neighborhood, like myself, growing up. Are we doing the, oh, yes. Mm-hmm. So the proposal that I was working with is with an artist out of San Diego, Ground Floor Murals, and they are San Diego rooted artists. One of my reasons for, I would say, the delay from the last time that I was here is that my artist fell off, and then I was very adamant. I wanted a local artist from the valley.
Your microphone cut up. Your microphone is turned up. I'm so sorry.
Can you hear me now? Oh, okay, great. And so I actually went through 3 different artists, local artists, who ended up, after months of saying, yes, we'll do it, things come up and they fell off for other reasons of them, just busy. And so I was kind of left back at square one multiple times. And it was in that time that when I started doing research on John Nobles himself, there's a lot of articles that have been printed here locally in the desert, Desert Sun. And there's one very specific one that, there's a comment that says he was faced with, he was crippled at one point is what I read. And so when you think of being crippled, right, I can only imagine how many doors were shut on him and how many no's he received. So I feel like it was only fair that I, pull this project all the way through. And I feel like I owe it to the 3 commissioners that, were very excited for the project. So I just want to thank you personally, because had it not been for you, I probably would have given up. And so, yes, I'm so glad that I'm here presenting this for you. And I was back to square one, and I kind of just went, I gave it to God. I said, well, if it's meant to be for me to, bring forth an artist and see what we can do with the neighborhood. And then I found Ground Floor Murals, and they are San Diego rooted artists. And somehow he was crazy enough to say yes. And then he followed all the way through. And he agreed to the mural. So the mural size approximately is over 7,000 square feet. It's 4 different walls in length. It is alongside the street between Monroe Street and Arabia, which is John Nobles Avenue. We're estimating project completion. I do believe he might be on, but we did put 3 to 5 weeks there. But in addition, the Sidewalk Landscape Transformation Project has actually been picked up by a landscape company here that is local. and that is Sancho's Landscape Construction Company. They are very, very well known. They do residential. They have worked for the city, for the state, so they are, they have done very large projects already of large scale, and he's actually a friend I grew up with, and when I called him, I was actually just calling local landscape companies to see if they could offer donations and plants. And so when I shared with him, he said, I got it. I'll give you a whole team. So you let us know when, if it gets approved, I'll deploy a team. And we'll supply, a nice design and give it a nice facelift. So I was very, 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 very excited for that. And next slide. Next slide. Okay. The current state, I didn't want to include pictures this time. I did walk, and while it does look a lot cleaner, the area, right, there's still a lot of work to be done in that street. The current state still looks it's unwatered, right? It's an unwatered community. But the way I see it as a very solid foundation. It looks like it's ready, the seeds are there, and it just, we just need the people in there. And it is ready for rebuilding. I do have a plethora of volunteers ready to jump on board for this project. I also, in the last 2.5 years, I spent working with Layla. She kind of gave me all of the direction on what needed to be done, including getting approval from the residents, right, that own that opposite side of the wall. So in coming weekly, I'd go knocking at the doors and just fellowshipping. I did get about 80% of approval, including signed. I made my own, approval forms, and they are all on board, really excited. In fact, between the neighborhood and the community members, I've collected over 65 pictures already from the community, and that includes pictures of, past, present, now, and the mock-up mural also is something that I kind of came across with. And the mock-up fee, because of the amount or the complexity of the mural, there was a $1,500 mock-up fee. So again, I reached out to community members, and I was able to solidify and get that fee also paid in full. So I do have here, and I love to quote the beloved apostle Paul that writes, I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. And, to see that we have two Pauls here is really excited. We have Paul Sanchez from Landscape Company, and we have Paul Jimenez, so they are bringing their artistic work, and they're ready to come together. And so the vision. So the vision here, that is some work there that you'll see along, some of the streets in San Diego. That is some of his work there. But the vision for this mural particularly is a mural that honors our community's past, present, and future, told through the visual journey across 3 connected walls, a large-scale mural that mixes realism with cultural storytelling. This mural would be created in collaboration with Ground Floor Murals and Paul Jimenez, with deep roots in San Diego and a passion for community-driven work. I'm not seeing the video up there. Is it able to be accessed? You see how it looks clear? Because I do have, there's a slide there perfect. And so go back real quick, yeah. So that is a link there to the artist, and if we can get about maybe three minutes, and this will give us a little insight to the type of work and who the artists are.
Hey, I'm Paul, and we're Ground Floor Murals. Today we're at a wall, a very nice wall. Today we'll be painting with our friends from Castle Park High School. I'm really excited. The students are coming very soon in the next 10 minutes or so, and I can't wait to get that going. We need to do a lot to it to get it going. We have to scrape all the paint off, or all the chipped paint off. We have to prime it. And yeah, I think they're going to get a taste for what we do every day.
I got you some water.
Hey, thank you.
Hey there, everybody. I'm just setting up. It's gonna be such a fun day. I'm excited to work with students. We haven't done that yet, and I really want to spread the love and share what we do with others, especially if we can inspire someone younger than us. It's gonna be nice to give someone an experience that we have that fills our hearts with joy.
Here we are, yet another mural. What's up, guys? Filling that gap over there? Yeah, you're solid. Look at the picture though, just for like...
TLC Club started a couple years ago, before everything shut down.
So right now we're just trying to make our boost morale around the community. So I thought that this mural would be a really good idea. I kind of helped restart this club to bring good energy to the environment of like our school, like where we live. And it's just like something that even the elementary school, Loma Verde, can enjoy.
So you just want to like kind of do the same. It doesn't have to be perfect. First, and then just kind of try to get it in. Let me spin it this way, so. Well, this is great. This is really good. A lot of fun. If you look behind me, we are starting. We're like in the middle of the beginning, and I'm very happy about that because this mural is really going to be awesome. It's going to be like our breakaway piece. This one, like me and Sina both really feel the same way about the subject that we're painting, and the fact that it's indigenous animals. It just means a lot to me. I feel like I'm representing a lot more than just the animals with this.
So that video is available online if you guys want to see how the mural turns out. On the next slide, you can see some of the work that the mural, Ground Floor Murals has done throughout the city of San Diego. They've also done work in the Los Angeles area. And, you know, when I originally started, I wanted somebody who was really, really good at portraits, which is what this mural is going to consist of. You know, the majority will be portraits. And so I'm very, very excited with the artist. Now, in the next slide is the example that our artist has submitted, and we are doing, because it's on multiple walls, I wanted to stay true to my storytelling. And so I love that Paul was really just able to capture my vision in what we want to do. So, and he does supply his proposal himself. So his mural proposal is A Journey Through Us. And he writes, "Dear recipient, I am excited to propose a mural for the city of Indio that honors our community's past, present, and future, told through a visual journey across 3 connected walls. The central image is a school bus traveling through our desert landscape, symbolizing both movement and unity. As the bus moves from the left to the right, it fills with people from our community, representing different generations and cultural moments. It begins with the past, passes through the present, and looks ahead to the future. In the foreground, photorealistic portraits of local wildlife, like the roadrunner and the coyote, serve as protectors and spiritual guides, grounding the peace in a natural world. Above, the sky tells another story, a Chicano park inspired tribute to our culture, painted with warm, nostalgic tones and layered with historical imagery, family photos, and community symbols. The sky acts almost like a mural within a mural, floating memories, dreams, and ancestors watching over us. The center wall will serve as a focal point of the mural, the moment of transition, where the bus is midway on its journey and the figures inside begin to shift from the memory to momentum. It's a love letter to where we've been and where we're headed. This mural would be created in collaboration with Ground Floor Murals and Paul Jimenez, with deep roots in San Diego and a passion for community-driven work. We specialize in large-scale murals that mix realism with cultural storytelling that would be honored to bring this vision to life in the community of Desert Gardens. Thank you for considering this project. We believe it will serve as a lasting source of pride and reflection for everyone who sees it. Next slide. And then the next slide after that. Okay. And Richard Calmer, an American artist, writes, "Art is our one true global language. It knows no nation, it favors no race, it acknowledges no class. It speaks to our need to reveal, heal, and transform." Next slide, please. And of course, sharing in the vision is a huge appreciation and shout out to She's My Dog Lady, who was able to get the mock fee paid in full, and as well as Sancho's Landscape Construction Company, as they are prepared also to partner in the project. Next slide. And thank you. This is in remembrance of John and Miranda and all of those members in my community who have forged the path, and in appreciation to She's My Dog Lady, He's My Dog Dude, and Sancho's Landscape Construction Company for their contribution and for believing in this vision. So I do believe that Layla did submit also the proposal for the work. Was it submitted, Gina? I don't know if Layla's on. Oh.
Yes, I'm here. So this is your presentation. So the idea to submit your proposal was, as far as I remember, you had a total amount of $50,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
For the mural.
55,000 is what the proposal request. Yes, on the.
Okay, 55,000 requesting from the city's public arts fund.
And I am all finished and open for any questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Yeah. Anybody open for questions? Not?
Comments, questions?
Question.
Yes.
My name is Gil Marujo,
Yeah.
and as far as your history portion of this growing up, did you actually grow up in the Desert Gardens area?
So, do you know the apartments right in
Right.
the corner?
In the corner?
Yes, there. And
Okay.
so, the two-story apartments are there. Yeah, they're townhomes.
The townhomes? Yeah.
Yes, and so, I grew up there, and then we have obviously friends in the Mayfair neighborhood, and
Yeah, it used to be called Mayfair area, but then John Noble's, and then the Desert Gardens are actually the homes that are on the property that was once John Noble's or Dr. Carrion.
yes,
Yes,
and he
I know.
already has his own park.
Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
and they were very good friends. I was kind of reading that
Yes.
the two of them were
I
very, very good friends.
actually knew Dr. Carrion, so back in the day when he was still a doctor there at the corner of what we call Carrion and Monroe, the
Yes.
ranches there. Anyway, so you grew up in that area.
Oh yeah, many memories, and I can.
Then why John Noble's? I mean, what's the reason behind that?
So I'll tell you, and I'll speak frankly, as I spoke, when I was here last time. Our storm is my brother was, he caught a court case, and so for 7-8 years I was coming to his court, and somehow, I don't know, we just have a way of gravitating back to probably, I would say, what broke us, and that neighborhood isn't an easy neighborhood to grow up in, and I could sit there instead and I could say, wow, this life is so unfair, and I can count all the tragedies that have happened, not just to me and to, my friends and family growing up, and so, or I could sit there and really just see past it and see past that pain and say, okay, well, wait a minute. If I experienced that, then I know that there's other children there that have also maybe experienced, a rough patch in the road. And the beautiful thing is that my most memorable memory is walking to school, and playing with the neighborhood kids. So as dangerous, and I mean, my brother got shot on that, literally on that street, and there's, again, or I could say, wow, we had so much fun. So I guess it's all in how you look at it, and I look at that neighborhood now and I'm thinking, well, I'm sure there's probably some kids there that, could use mentoring, and know that there's people like Miss Diane who clearly birthed 3 beautiful, children who are community members, and actually it was Wayman 2.5 years ago when I was living in San Diego, because I grew up with him and my brother were really good friends, I was like, wow, I want a mural. I used to bike ride in San Diego and it's filled there. So when I would come here, I would see so much construction. Then I thought, wow, there's not a lot of murals. And in the last 2 years, I'm also seeing so many murals go up, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see so much growth, and I also don't want to neglect that neighborhood. It's a love-rooted neighborhood, and those who have, forged their way, they're doing something with their lives, and they are actively giving back to the community. And so, that's what this mural will be all about. And I know that last time somebody had mentioned on the panel if I knew about the park plan that was once upon a time. Yeah.
That's and apparently no longer happening.
Oh.
So
because I have an amazing idea for that.
Months ago, there was a meeting here. It was probably I think the second meeting, and then the mall developer, the person that bought the mall, was going to focus their direction towards the John Noble's Ranch street on the backside of the property that had been unfortunately taken by eminent domain by the city before this. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like that the mall developer has decided not to go forward, And originally they were going to put a park in the middle of the area that would be immediately south of the mall where like the loading docks and stuff are. But so that was canceled. But they had meetings about trying to incorporate history of the neighborhood, either with, photo plaques or an art walk or something like that in the park. But as far as I know, that's canceled. And we talked with Councilman Furman about tying up this mural idea of yours into that park, because they had talked about
Oh, okay.
vines and roots coming out of the neighborhood and tying into the street names and the people that came to that neighborhood and have since come from that neighborhood, because obviously most of it is gone.
Yeah. I think of, if looking at the neighborhood, and if I can speak frankly, if I was the mall owner, I would look at it and say, well, why should I? It looks neglected, and so sometimes they just need to see that we care as a community and that we're willing to put in the work, and maybe he needs to see the vision come to life for him to say, okay, I'll give a park up, and I'll give a little space of land for park, but it looks sad back there, and if we pour our love into it, he might change his mind.
I won't speak for the Hagans, but I do know that they have, it sounds like they may have given up on that property again.
And even if not, again, I think of that street there, alongside when you drive to Coachella, there's a lot of action going on right now in the community, and I kind of was seeing the map. There's a map that comes out right on as far as traffic. Yeah, so that traffic falls right across that street, or they go right down it. So I think, wow, so much traffic is coming in from all over the world, right? Specifically to these festivals, they're gonna drive down that area, right? And how beautiful will it be for them just to be, stop car to car, or even just take a detour down, kind of like memory lane, and really just give a heartbeat to that neighborhood. So yeah, it wasn't part of the park plan, but thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Well, thank you for your presentation. I'll start with that. And then you mentioned that you had reached out originally to a few local artists and that fell through. Did you try reaching out to any other artists, or maybe try to reach out to the city for references on artists that we've used in the past and things like that?
I did. So Layla gave me a list. Yeah, she gave me a list, and I went through a couple of them. As I went through, and I left a couple messages and just didn't hear back. So, but she did, based off of the last meeting, and there was a project that I know was kind of going on at the time. I emailed her and I asked her for the list of those artists, and she sent it to me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is the artist still on?
Hello? Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you'd like to add anything to the presentation.
Yeah, I think that I've been doing this now for 4 years, and I've seen how big of an impact it's made here in my city, where we didn't really have a lot of that. I tend to focus on areas that could really use the facelift and just use the love. So I've really grown to appreciate the effect that I can have when I paint in those areas. So when I got the call from Morelia, it was just, it sounded like a perfect combo, perfect storm. It was right up my alley, right up my demographic. And it just sounded like a really rewarding and fun project. I through this process, I got to learn a lot about the community, and it just seems like it could really use something that's meaningful. I've done murals in areas that were being tagged constantly or just not being picked up, and then I would go back afterwards and notice that the neighborhood is just taking care of itself, and I've realized how much responsibility I've gained while doing this, and that's why I tend to focus on those areas that could really just use some pride. I come from a place that doesn't necessarily have that innately. So I wanted to focus on my neighborhood. And since then, I've noticed a huge shift in overall morale, pride, and just it just has made a big difference in where I come from. So I really vow to do that in other communities, and when these opportunities come up, I get really excited to make a difference.
Thank you. I do have a question for both of you. Is there any flexibility on the design? Are you both open to changes?
It's a huge wall, and I am all open. He's the artist.
That portion we saw, was that just one section of the wall?
That
'Cause
is one.
It's a 2, because I figure there's a 1, 2, and a 3.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only
Okay.
one portion of it.
Do you have an idea of what you would be doing for the other two?
Yes. So, like the mural, proposal states, the 60. So, on the sky, the people there, that's going to represent, people that are no longer here with us in the flesh, community members that have really mentored that community, that neighborhood itself. And then the other walls, they're going to start to transition people more into the face of the walls, and it'll be a storyline in a sense.
Okay.
And sorry, the big part of this as well is getting some help from we already have 2 painters that are wanting to help with this project, and the more the merrier. I want people that really know the stories and the background even more, and getting their input. What I've done before in the past when I've worked with the community is I'll do something that is more, it pulls you in, and as you get there and you look at it, you see all the stories and people behind the community. I grew up close to Chicano Park here in Logan. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it has a lot of draw from that. I have uncles and aunts painted on the pillars, and it means a lot when I can walk by and say, oh, this is my uncle, my aunt, or part of this community, and I want to get some help from people in the community depicting the community. So that is definitely part of the plan.
I think also, Gabriela, to answer your question, the original 2 artists, which were the that I presented with, they are actually still on the project. They are as apprentices. So the original 2, and they are one of them is local, and she does live here, except for school is a priority. So she didn't want to commit full time, but she's still on the project if it moves forward. Mm-hmm.
I had a question in regards to the faith-based churches there. Have you had any talk or discussion with them as well?
The church.
There used to be 3 churches there.
There was, yes. I do have
know.
a couple pictures of some. Mm-hmm.
So have you had any discussion with them as far as support or anything that deals with that portion of the neighborhood? Because
Well,
it used to be, they were pretty influential.
yes. So not so much them, but the neighborhood. I don't know if the church is still there.
Well, there's only one.
Yeah, but I have reached out to other churches, and those churches, and some of those actually, I have a couple pastors in the mural, and one of them is from one of those churches. Yes, so I do have that. I don't have his name though. So he's part of the mural.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just it. That area is. I mean, you actually were raised in that area, and I know the area very well. So there's a strong community portion of it where it's really the strength is within their own neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
So it's important that if you've taken inventory of them and you've actually questioned them and make sure, because
Even I didn't mean to cut you off. A resident who I knocked at the door. I let him know I'm very rooted, and in fact, in one of my years visiting these last couple years, I grew up going to the Boys and Girls Club.
sure.
Right, and it was Coach Tony Williams at the time.
Well, he's a pastor now.
Oh, he's my pastor. He baptized me 2 years
Okay,
ago.
so Tony was one of my students, but go ahead.
Yes, so you see, I didn't know that. I just thought that, how does this kind of come full circle? I remember you. Oh, wait, you used to be a coach. Oh my God, I remember you. You kept us out of trouble. And I also didn't know that in kind of discovering, talking to the community, his brother, his first name, his older brother.
It's Tony, and there's
Yes.
Roger. No, it's Roger. I'm trying to recall.
He is my brother's mentor, and I didn't know that.
Well, there was the Exons too. Quentin.
Quentin. There you go, Quentin.
Sure.
So, yes, I have tons of feedback, and, just, if anything, the fellowship and the building of the relationships has been.
That would really help if you had those.
Well, I do. As I said, is in the last 2 years, I've kind of gone through and done the work of just fellowshipping and, getting in there. And I've spent some time also with Martha's Village, who also, is very, very active, and they are on board also supporting the project. And so, yeah, I have definitely, communicated to those that, and they're on board. So I'm grateful that there's support. So, yeah, it's just now.
I have a couple questions for the commission. One, would you like to see this project done? And two, what's your feeling on the current mock-up design?
I'd like to see the total design, and I'd like to see what other images you plan to incorporate. My feeling is the budget is mostly appropriate given the scale and the length. I'm hoping you have enough to get everything done as far as your wall prep and everything, because the wall that's there has been in rough shape and been painted over a few times. That'd be my concern, is just to see what the total image looks like, and to make sure that you've got the same level of detail and thought throughout the whole thing. And we're just enjoying, whatever else you plan to incorporate with the community as well.
And originally, Paul was gonna do the whole mural, and I told him not to, because based on our last meeting, you guys said, hey, it's a big wall, we don't want to see it all, just come back with an example or a mock-up. So that was my direction for him.
Yeah,
But
I'm with EJ. I would like to see what the whole thing's gonna look like, because that is a very big wall.
Yes.
And I need to know what the complete design is gonna look like, to make sure it's balanced and what we have in there.
Yeah, we're completely open to
Okay.
ideas. I mean, I was on a curb and it came, so. And thank you for being open to.
So, Madam Chairperson, if I may, so this is just the proposal from this very nice lady, which has put a lot of work and a lot of passion into it. So if the commission would like to go forward at the time that the commission is ready and the artist and Morella is also ready, then it needs to be added to our work plan for the next fiscal year with the clear budget. And then we also need to add the maintenance portion for the yearly maintenance of the mural. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And then, so if you will, that makes it easier for you to have any requests for the presenter today to bring back the full package. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, do we need a motion to bring the proposal
This is
back?
not an action item, so you don't have to make any motion. It's just a presentation. So it's up to the commission if you guys would like to bring it back, or if you don't want to bring it back. It's all up to you.
Yeah, and I think the reason why this is just a presentation, because it's not currently in the work plan for us to be analyzed, so we didn't have it in the budget for this current fiscal year. Now, I'm right now in the middle of creating the budget for the next fiscal year, seeing how much money we're getting in the in lieu development fees into that, and figuring as to where we're at currently with our work plan, and that's kind of the next presentation. And then going forward, how much of that money we have left in order to build out the next work plan. And that's why the next presentation is coming to you, to give you an update of what the current work plan is. So it's just a receive and file type of, it's just a presentation, so there's no action needs.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Would you be available to chat afterwards? Or
Yes.
do you gotta run? Okay.
Hang on.
Okay, item 6, action items, there are none. Item 7.1, update on Indio Public Arts work plan for fiscal year 24-25 and potential new projects for this fiscal year work plan.
So I believe the presentation will be coming up very soon. I apologize, I was sick, so in order to not make everybody sick, I'm doing this presentation from home. So if I can get to the slide that and the number 7.1, I believe. There we go. So this is the table for ongoing projects, which was from the past work plan for the fiscal year 24-25. We had 10 projects. So 9/11 memorial projects for $125,000. The location has been changed to be determined. The artist has started working on the project, got his first payment. The building permits has been issued. But because of the location change or change of location, that may delay a little bit this project. So the original unveiling time was September 11, 2025. That may affect that unveiling date. But staff is looking to find better location, the direction from the council that has more parking area and more public access. So it could be a true memorial. The desert tortoise is completed. I believe Chairperson Sanchez was at the unveiling, so it's completed and the lighting are connected, so everything is done. Desi Memorial mural, it's being painted. The AR portion of it also is being worked on. So we are anticipating in a couple of months there will be an unveiling for that project as well. Fred Waring mural, we are still waiting on the artist to basically get his social security number and be able to execute the contract with him. Shields Park sculpture, we are in the contract signing phase. Bravo project, permit has been issued. The artist is working on getting a licensed contractor. We're anticipating the work will be completed fall of 2025. Our mural conservation plan, the phase 1 and 2 has been completed. So Native American mural, history of agriculture, the hummingbird mural, Old Indio, and To the Future, and the mural behind Colossal Cacti has been completed. The Old Indio mural requires some touch-up that it's going to be completed as part of the phase 3. The phase 3 will be done by May 10. So and for the next year, it may use him on case by cases on any of our murals, even the ones that is added after this contract was completed. However, if we need to add any mural to it, again, we come before the Arts Commission and City Council for approval. Ali activation plan has completed, so the mural is completed, the benches are installed, and we received the split lights that we are going to install. The city will install them shortly. Indio mural number 16, which is on Jackson and Avenue 45, the contract is being reviewed by our legal. Center Stage mural, same way. It's been the contract being reviewed by our legal as well. We should be able to get it signed by next week. So far, the total basically budget for all these 10 projects were a little bit over $1 million. We still need to complete them, so we need to pay additional $674,000 for all these projects to be completed. As I said, it will be completed by fall and winter of 2025. That basically includes my presentation regarding the ongoing and carryover projects. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Layla. I'd also like to add that there's a couple murals that had some pretty substantial damage, like the Old Indio. That one had a lot of stucco damage, which we had to pay an additional $3,000 to repair that stucco and to get it repainted. But if you see it now, it looks beautiful. There was another one. Layla, can you remind me which one that was? Was it the History of Water?
The old Indio mural, the cost to touch up, it was $7,100. We have now the history of agriculture. After they put the coat on it, somebody tagged on the bottom, so they have to go remove the tag. The Native American village, they used to be some windows on the top close to the roof that now the caulking is coming out. So for that repair and a couple of other minor graffitis from other murals. One was from To the Future, and also one was behind the colossal cacti. So for all those, I believe the conservator asking about another additional $4,000, about $4,000, which we think it could be absorbed throughout the entire project budget. The entire project budget is $170,000 with a $22,000 that will be for a yearly maintenance. So we still won't go above the max budget.
And that is something new that was added to this fiscal year's work plan, where we started including maintenance onto existing murals and any new murals. In the past, we've only kind of paid for the mural and moved on, but that's kind of what caused these problems with the damage on it. So now if we're maintaining them on an annual basis, and we're trying to also cut costs where we can, where we have in-house staff pressure wash it so it doesn't damage it, but at least cleans off some of the dust, which preserves the length where we have to kind of go do the more intensive maintenance on them.
Great, thank you.
I've got two questions just to follow up. Our current budget for the year was just over $1. We still have to pay 6, 7 something. What is the guess of what this year's fee is going to take in? Are we looking at less than usual, about 100?
It has been decreasing year over year. This last year, we were looking at roughly a leftover about, let's say, just under $80,000. Now, I have to go back and check. The art fund is kind of hard to calculate how much we're going into the next fiscal year, because we're always collecting those fees. Whenever someone comes in, pulls a permit, and they need to pay that development fee, it's kind of always coming in. So it's hard to guess. Like our guess is 200,000 typically, but sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. But we're right around 200,000 for that. So we also have to factor in the maintenance. So now we kind of lose that chunk of money every year. So if we get, for example, $200,000 and we're spending $25,000, while we now have $175,000 for new art and those types of things. So that is something that I'm currently working on to kind of adjust. Another thing that is kind of hurting the art fund is that there's development impact fee deferrals that were provided to some business in order to continue that development also. Those deferrals are up to 3 years to new developments that are either in retail, industrial, and or high density housing. In order to kind of encourage, it's an incentive for developers, and so that money might not be coming in as frequently as it was, because there's 3 projects that I know of so far that have been deferred, so now that's deferred for at least 3 years, so that's also going to impact.
But eventually it will.
Yes.
It's not they've been waived. they've
No,
been
no, no,
deferred.
no,
Okay.
it's just deferring that, so
Okay.
we might take a hit, let's say this next fiscal year on it, but 2 years past that, we should start seeing that money come in.
That's why I'm a stickler for not sticking extra projects on without commission looking at them. You talked about the Cahuilla Village mural with some windows. What is the disposition of the old Imperial Hardware building? Is the city still owns that and it's going to stay for the moment?
For the moment, yes. There's significant structural damage on that. Last time we got quoted, it was about 1.4 million, and that was a few years ago. As we know, costs keep on increasing. We're estimating, because if we do the work, it'll be closer to 2 million, maybe a little over $2 million. We are looking for creative ways. I'm speaking to developers on a weekly, monthly basis to see if anyone is willing to buy it, willing to fix it, willing to work with us, whether that's through a partnership or, we've had some developers say, I want to demolish all of it and start from new, because by the time I fix it, it's going to be so expensive to try to even recover my money back from this. So
That seems to be the recurring theme with our historical buildings, is to wait for them to catch fire instead of fixing them.
yeah, and so because of the increased costs, it almost becomes infeasible for the city to do it. So that's why we're trying to preserve what we can when we can. And again, it's kind of like the murals. Is if we maintain them consistently, guess what? They'll be in better shape longer term, and then we have more usability off of them. Unfortunately, on this building, it has just such significant improvements that need to happen on there in order for us, the city, to invest in it and then turn around and lease it out. So we are looking for creative ways, and I'm working with some people that have some really cool ideas. A lot of people like the building. They want to fix it and then, propose different things, but we haven't found the right thing. Of course, it's the council's decision, but we try to vet out what's the best and highest use for that building. And so we're not just going to turn it over to someone who's going to sit on it forever, essentially, and now we don't have control over that building.
Okay. And my last one was, we talked about the mural behind Colossal Cacti. That's what Zach Fleming Boyles. Was there a direction on what was going to happen with the repair, about approaching the artist to fix it, if that was going to be covered? Apparently it was an issue with the varnish. It was going to cost as much, if not more, to fix it than it was to actually.
Yeah, and Layla can respond to that. She's been working with the artists to kind of figure that out.
Okay.
So I emailed artists 3 times. The first 2 times I received an answer, but then after that, he did not respond. The last email that he sent me was he's going to come over and wash it. But again, he didn't respond after the second email. My third email went with no response, which he's supposed to be here one of the Mondays in February to wash it. And then I said we can provide him with pressure washer. But he did not. So if we want to do anything, it needs to be legal action against him.
I was just trying to make sure that the maintenance or the repair fee hadn't hit our budget yet, and it sounds like it hasn't. Because it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $40,000.
No, this was about $30,000.
That's it for my questions.
Anyone else? Okay.
If I may, Madam Chair, I also want to add that we need to work on our next fiscal year work plan. So we also would like to get input from the commission. If you have any new projects in mind. If you have any suggestions, please provide me within the next 2 weeks so we can bring you something for our May meeting.
Okay.
So if I don't hear anything within 2 weeks, then a staff will provide some suggestions for you to consider or not consider.
Okay. Item 8, commissioner comments. I don't think we have any.
I've got, it looks like, and maybe if we haven't been updated, they selected John Cuevas to do the mural at Center Stage.
Okay.
In the restrooms.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no other comments, I'll adjourn this meeting at 6:30.
Thank you very much. Good night.